entering data in the inline table or the grid view. We recommend this approach when you need to enter a large number of records than in the first method, because it allows you to fill down repeated values quickly while still benefiting from strong validation rules that help ensure accurate and complete data entry. The main steps to report for indicator progress are as follows. First, identify the view that shows the column you need to complete. In this example, I will use data upload view that I prepared earlier and I set it to default. Let's submit one record. To do so, click on the drop-down arrow and select one record to be added then at the bottom or top of the table. I'm going to add one at the bottom. This will create an empty row. It is normal for new rows to appear in red while they are still empty. Country module has embedded logic to ensure completeness and accurate data submission. However, if a row remains red after you enter data, it means there is an issue that needs to be corrected, as I will show later in this video. Now, let's fill in this record. First, select the project using the name or the ID, then the implementing partners. Then select the indicator to which you are reporting against it. Other fields such as indicator unit, required disaggregation, cluster, and activity columns will be filled in automatically, as you see in the column required disaggregation, or sometimes called disaggregation model, indicates which disaggregation you will need to fill in as advised by the cluster leads. Let's leave it for the moment and move to fill out our columns. The global cluster value can be optional or mandatory to fill in, depending on the country settings. For example, if I tried here to add the global clusters, it shows invalid and turned red, indicating the value is wrong, or it's not need to be filled. In this case, I just go and clear the unfilled values from here, which empty the record. Then fill in the reporting period. I'm going to select April. Remember, if you select a future monitoring period, the system will also show that this is an invalid value, indicating that you need to select the right monitoring period. So let's select May, or let's select April. And then, now let's add the measurements. As explained in the previous video, to report on the indicator progress, you would need to add the periodic measure of the indicator for the selected monitoring period, such as in our case, it is April 2026. So let's add 100 here, which indicates that 100 individuals, as indicated from the INIS, has been assisted in April. And then let's add 600 for cumulative measure, which provide the value of the overall progress from the beginning of the year, January 26, up to April 2026. It is very important that the values, the measurement values, are put against the indicator unit. For example, If the indicator is measured in households, the values you enter, the measurement values you enter should represent households. If the indicator, however, is measured in kits or items, then the values should also reflect the number of items distributed, and so on. Using the correct measurement unit is essential because it is a core monitoring principle and directly affects the accuracy and quality of response analysis and calculations. As you see, I left the other disaggregations such as admin, educations, agencies, population, and cache parameters empty. This means the values entered in the periodic and cumulative columns represent overall progress and are not yet broken down by location, population group, assistance modality, etc. Normally, this is enough to save a record and submit. But clusters will often require further disaggregations, such as shown here by locations, by gender and age and population type, etc., and other disaggregations. For example, some indicators require location-based disaggregation, such as this one, which has kits in as its unit. In this case, the indicator must be broken down by admin 1 and admin 2, with the total measurements of the number of kits distributed. Let's look at another example. Some indicators require more than location disaggregation, such as this one here. This one, as you see, requires to be disaggregated by not only the location, but also by agent sex, like first population type, disability, or any one of them. So it could be only for agent sex, it could be only for population, it could be only for disability, or combined together. Another common example is reporting on cash indicator, such as this one, number of households having received multipurpose cash assistance, and the unit is household. As you see, the required disaggregation shows that this indicator should be disaggregated by admin 2, right, meaning by location and by cache parameters. And that include also the amount of cash distributed. But this indicator unit is household. The periodic and total measures should be number of households assisted with multipurpose cache. This one, for example, is for 90. This one is, let's say, in the total in 180 from the beginning of the year until May. And then, because this is a cash modality, as you see, the total USD amount distributed should be added here with the cash parameters. Let's take a moment about the USD amount. It's very important that to know that when you add the amount distributed in USD and the original amount was distributed in another currency, it should first be converted to USD. The amount entered should cover only the selected reporting period. If no cash was distributing during that period, selected period, like in our case is May, leave it blank or enter 0. And then fill out the other parameters, cache parameters. It's important to know that the USD amount do not have a cumulative cash amount from the beginning of the year because cash amounts are summed automatically over time. Now, moving to the cache parameters. If the cache is conditional, select the appropriate cache type, conditionality type, such as cache for shelter, for school, etc. Otherwise, the cache distribution might be unconditional, and in this case, the conditionality type should be empty. And for this, it's highlighted already in red, indicating you need to empty it. So clear this value here. Then fill out the cache restriction, whether it's restricted or not, or unrestricted, and the delivery method, such as bank transfer, direct cash, and the rest of the options that are available for your selection. And lastly, select the frequency of cache distribution. If everything is good, then you can go and submit records here. Now we have submitted one record. Let's try to quickly submit multiple records to add the disaggregation. Let's use this indicator as an example. I'm first going to filter to this indicator. And as you see, the required disaggregation for this indicator is by admin 2. You might want to report for the progress on 3 different locations. In this case, I'm going to add 3 records here. And at the bottom, this will create multiple empty rows. And then I select the cells that will be repeated here up to the monitoring period. So either by copy and paste, like this, or by dragging the fill handle down. Now I enter the admin 1 and admin 2 locations. Let's say I am implementing this in the same admin 1, but in different locations. As you see, I try to select the same location, but it shows me duplications because both records are highlighted now, indicating these are becoming invalid to records. So I need to select a different location. Let's say I'm going to use this location here. And then again, fill out the periodic measures. Let's say this is a total, but actually you need to distribute this across the location. So this might be 15, this might be 15, and this might be 10, and this might be 10, and this is 27. Let's say it's 15, 10, 25, 25. This now shows the breakdown of my progress across the different regions at admin 2 level. Split. Remember, the measures and the cumulative, both cumulative and periodic, should be related to the indicator units. And in this case, these should represent number of kits distributed. Now you can already go and submit all these records. However, you might want to finish first the submission, finish drafting all your indicators before submitting them. Let's try now another disaggregation. So, for example, let's select this indicator. This one, as this column indicates, it requires disaggregation by admin 2, urgent sex, population type, and disability. As we did in the first example, let's filter to this indicator and let's add a few records here at the bottom. And then we need to copy all repeated values. And if you see in my view, I have added them all next to each other so that it's easy to drag and drop. And then this indicator, it's about individuals assisted. And here it seems to be these are children assisted. We wanted to know who are these children. maybe they have been served in these locations. So it could be in the same location, but still highlighted red because these are still duplicated. But now, for example, to have assisted 50 IDP girls and a total of 100 IDP girls. So in this case, I add the measurements and then I select the category is girls and the population group is IDP. This one is a complete record and done. So let's say we did the same amount with 50 and 100 that we distributed also to boys and of IDPs. And also, maybe we have assisted 3 disabled in this month, but a total of 13 disabled people. Total of 13 disabled people. And in this case, I need to select here the disaggregation disabled people so that the 13 and 3 applies to the disabled people. Now I'm done with this example. Let's now try a commonly used indicator that we mentioned before, a cache indicator. So let's try to find it. So we have this indicator where the segregation for this indicator is by admin 2 and cache. And in this case, I just need to select here the indicator and create few records. And then I'm going to copy, like we did previously, all the common fields, the common data sets. And then, as this need require disaggregation, let's assume we're doing this in few different locations. This need to be different after selecting the regions where a number of households have received multipurpose cache, and this is again the unit is household. Then you can see we distributed cache to 90 households in this region with 180 total, and it says 60 in this region with 190 a total, and some just random example that can be used here 60. This time remember to add the total USD amount distributed converted to the USD depending on your context. Of course, numbers can be much bigger because we're talking about the collective total amount distributed on that selected monitoring period. And then you need to select the conditionality. It could be the same conditionality if it's unconditional, or let's say it was conditional for these 3 new records. Then I will drag and drop here, but it's conditional, and all of them maybe has been cache for shelter. Cache delivery is again the modality. Maybe all of your modalities are done through the bank transfer, and maybe it's also mostly are every 2 months or so. That's your modality, or could be, of course, one of etc. Now we are done. I'm going to remove the filter, and then I see all my records here. All are in blue, indicating that they are saved in my local machine, and now I can submit them all together as validated record that now will be available. See, as you see now. So this is the way the inline table works for submitting multiple records. This method is highly recommended when you will need to submit several records at once. It makes data entry faster as it allows you to fill down repeated values as we explained by examples, several examples. While also validation rules help you identifying missing or incorrect entries before submissions.